All right. Good morning, afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining our webinar today. We are excited that you are here and ready to learn more about NetSuite. In today's webinar, we will give you a quick introduction to Luxent and NetSuite, followed by a demonstration of the powerful features that NetSuite has, and then we will close out with an overview of NetSuite pricing and packaging. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please put them in the Q&A panel, and we will do our best to get to them live. If not, we will answer them either after the webinar or follow up with you via email. With that, I would like to introduce you to our Luxent team. Today, we have Vivian Kina on the call, Luxent's president and CEO. And Vivian has been in the ERP space for 20 plus years, knows all of the ins and outs of NetSuite. We also have Ben Katerberg, the director of our NetSuite practice here at Luxent and the chief solution architect. Ben comes to us with 10 plus years of experience and a wealth of industry best practices. And finally, myself, Brooke Geipus, a sales executive here at Luxent with 3+ years in the NetSuite ERP space. All right, let's get started. So we just want to give you a quick introduction to Luxent. We were founded in 2009 with our headquarters in beautiful Southern California, and we have consultants all across the United States, and we are currently celebrating our 15th year. We are a premier NetSuite solution partner with the average consultant with 10+ years of ERP and industry experience, which is very, very beneficial for those in the medical manufacturing industry. And we help companies with the selection, implementation, support of NetSuite. And we also help with third-party applications and development. At Luxent, we are a Suite Cloud development partner, which means we can build on the NetSuite platform, and we have applications on the NetSuite App Store. And we also have a Salesforce practice here at Luxent with apps on the Salesforce App Exchange. With that, I'd like to pass you guys over to Ben Katerberg, our Chief Solutions Architect here at Luxent, to give you a little more information.
Thanks, Brooke. Hello, everybody. Happy to be with you today. Just want to talk through a few high-level numbers here with NetSuite. So as far as the ERP space, NetSuite is the #1 cloud ERP. So NetSuite was the first ERP to really start in the cloud. They've been in the cloud from the very, very beginning. And as a result, you are always on the latest and greatest version of NetSuite at all times. So NetSuite comes out with new features all the time, new releases twice every year, and NetSuite will auto upgrade you to the latest release. And so you will always be gaining new features, new functionality to help your business optimize. As a result of this business model, NetSuite has experienced incredible growth. Obviously, being in 217 countries, as you can see in the graphic, there are 38,000 customers around the world. And just to kind of speak to the trajectory of this growth is over 6,000 new customers just in the last 12 months and counting. So the reason why NetSuite is able to grow so quickly is because they have verticalized products. They have a flexible product. So as you can see here, there are manufacturing SKUs, which many of you here today kind of fall into this sub-vertical of manufacturing under the more light manufacturing medical device space. A lot of you also may be distributors. You may have some retail aspects. So even if you do fall in high level kind of manufacturing, NetSuite is flexible enough for you to support all of your distribution channels and solutions within the same platform. So here at Luxent, Luxent is a premier solution provider. We help negotiate and sell the software, but we specialize in this medical device space. And here are just a handful of our customers that we work with. We've implemented many of these from the initial prospecting phase, and we continue to support them in current state. Some of these customers maybe started off really, really small in more of a preliminary phase, pre-revenue, and have grown all the way to public facing companies. So what are some of the benefits that you gain when you move to NetSuite? First and foremost is visibility. So most medical device manufacturers, they require visibility to be able to give them greater controls around some of their FDA validations and other compliance requirements. So you have visibility in NetSuite. You can see where your product is at. You can see lot traceability. So you have greater control over your data, and you have that traceability from financials all the way down to individual operational processes. As a result, it gives you greater agility. You can make decisions quicker. You can pivot business strategies quicker when you have this greater visibility and control. The other thing that NetSuite provides you, and you'll see some of these tools that I'll demonstrate, are some of the collaboration tools. A lot of organizations rely on emails heavily or sticky notes on people's desks, and NetSuite can help to reduce or eliminate some of those kind of current state collaboration tools, all to move into the central platform. And a lot of workflows are built to help inspire some of that collaboration. And then finally, productivity. This is the main benefit of moving towards NetSuite is your organization will be more productive. Your users will be more productive. Many processes will be automated so that your people can pivot a lot of their time from more data entry to more strategic decision making and value-added services. So just kind of talking through specifically in the medical device vertical here, what a lot of organizations tell us that they have as some of the main requirements or pain points. Manufacturing and planning is very, very challenging for a lot of medical device manufacturers. Many times product you are requiring come from overseas or come from less stable parts of the world with economic disadvantages. So NetSuite does give you more and more tools and insights into your whole production supply chain. Another issue is the FDA compliance and validation. So when you move into the NetSuite platform, you have that full visibility and traceability, and we can work with you here at Luxent to build some of those kind of compliance processes with internal systems of control to help you stay compliant with FDA validations. Also, quality is very important to medical device. So NetSuite does have pre-built quality modules within the platform itself that can help you segment out product that still needs to be inspected before it gets shipped out the door to your customers. Lot traceability is obviously a very big requirement within medical device manufacturing. So from raw materials through subassembly all the way to finished goods, you can trace both backwards and forwards within the NetSuite platform. CRM, this is one area that all medical device manufacturers need to grow their customer base. So NetSuite has a pre-built-in CRM system within the ERP that gives you that full visibility to sales prospecting and sales forecasting in addition to the full ERP capabilities. Also, warehouse management systems. NetSuite does have its own WMS, as well as many other WMSs that are pre-built with integrations into NetSuite. And then there's other common requirements like an approved products distribution. So as medical device manufacturers look to ship product internationally, NetSuite, we can use the tool to start validating certain shipments to make sure that that product is approved to be able to ship to those countries. So NetSuite was designed first and foremost as a financial system when it was started back in 1998. NetSuite is a modular system, meaning it has a lot of extra modules, is what they call it, to plug into NetSuite. So you design your solution based on what your requirements are. So if you have any sort of revenue concerns, there is a revenue module that you can plug into the system. There are kind of global accounting consolidation aspects that you can add to your system. Financial planning, so organizations that do FP&A, we can plug in some additional tools into NetSuite. And this is all core NetSuite, by the way. These are all NetSuite products. And you don't have to buy every single module. You can just buy what you need when you need them. So with that said, I'm going to open up my NetSuite screen, and I'm going to show you a little bit about the platform and some of the flexibility and the tools that are built into the NetSuite product. All right, so the very first thing I want to show you here is on my screen, this is a URL. This is a web address. This is an internet browser. I can get access to NetSuite as long as I have access to the internet. So I don't necessarily have to be on site at the office to be able to access NetSuite and access the underlying data for my reports or any of my kind of to-do list I can take home with me as long as I have an internet connection. All I need to do is go pull up a browser, go to netsuite.com, enter my username, password, and here's my opening screen here. So the first perspective I want to run through is the perspective of the controller or the financial representation in the organization. I know we've got people on the call here that are from various aspects of the organization, and I'll kind of get to some of those. So I'm going to start with more the financial side. I'll pivot over to more supply chain management and operations. And then finally, I'll show kind of the perspective of the sales organization and sales functions as well. So once again, there is an internet browser. I have these tabs up top. So being a financial controller, I have kind of various aspects to my job. Maybe I'm concerned about customers or vendors or payroll. So each of these tabs kind of represent a different aspect of my role and my responsibilities. A lot of organizations have these little shortcuts here. So what I'm showing you today, this is a demo account. This is a pre-built, what they call dashboard. And these dashboards actually come when you purchase your NetSuite solution on day one. So everything you're seeing here is pre-published as a controller's dashboard. So some of these dashboard tiles, for instance, I can just click on these and it's going to open up the balance sheet for me. Here's my version of the balance sheet. I also have a dashboard tile for trial balance. In NetSuite, there's always more than one way to do the same thing. So I can use these little quick links, these dashboard tiles. I can navigate from my reports menu and find lots of other reports I have access to. I can set up other little shortcuts. I have little reminders here on my left-hand side of the panel. These reminders are usually more collaboration tools and workflow. So as the controller, maybe I'm responsible for approving some bills or some sales orders. So all of that data is here for me on a reminder. And I simply just have to click on the reminder, and it's going to take me to the underlying data that I'm responsible for here. So some of these are vendor bill approvals. Some of these are return authorizations, sales orders. Depending on what your controller does at your organization, these can be configured so that everything that you need at your fingertips is on your dashboard and available to you. So let's take a look at some of these reports here. I grabbed the balance sheet report and a trial balance. I'll do an income statement as well. So this is just the out-of-the-box NetSuite income statement. Obviously, you can see it sorted, tabbed by income and specific kind of GL details here and summary. I can drill down. I can kind of summarize and group, and I can do other things like pivot. So maybe I want to do only show my US subsidiary, and then I want to pivot by location. Now I can see my full P&L for my US 1 subsidiary pivoted by location. So I can see the total for all locations, but then I can see here the income totals for Los Angeles, for instance, separate from San Francisco. And I can see my full cost of goods. I can see all my expenses by location. And I can see here's net income by location here. I also have the flexibility for setting up various product lines and product classifications. Now I want to pivot by my product classification. So within my US 1 subsidiary, I just had to select class and refresh the report. And now I can see various revenue values for different product classes. And by the way, if I want to drill in and see I'm at $1 million in revenue for class A, I just click on the number and it takes me to a detailed report. This is the makeup of that $1 million in revenue from transactions in the current month. Some of these are credit memos, some of these are cash sales, there's invoices. Obviously, I have different customers in here, but this is that drill down capability and flexibility, which is great for audits. So if I have numbers that look off, I can drill into the details of what explain those numbers, and I can go all the way into the individual transaction itself. So this one, let's say, looks a lot higher than I was anticipating. I can go to this individual transaction here, and I can see what makes up this transaction detail. Are there multiple lines, multiple products that were sold on here? Did something potentially get duplicated in here? Or maybe this was a sale that didn't belong in July. Maybe some of it was sold in June and some of it was July. So once again, I can drill down to the individual transaction and see what's happening here. So here's the underlying invoice. This is what ultimately posted to my revenue. So I can see the GL impact of the individual transaction, and there's 2 revenue lines based on product classes. And then I can also see things like related records. So this invoice here was paid, and here's the linked payment, and the payment was deposited. So I can actually get into the whole web of transactions that are linked together to really explain what was happening here and where we're at with this particular customer's invoice. So here is a balance sheet report. Again, I can do those same kind of pivots, like I'll do a pivot on location for my US 1 subsidiary. And this is really nice because, for instance, a lot of medical device manufacturers have commands that they'll leverage for various aspects of their manufacturing process. So maybe this command here is my sterilization vendor. So I'm sending a lot of my product to my sterilization vendor. I can set them up as a virtual location. And now I have visibility into my inventory that is on my contract manufacturer's location site. So not only do I see the sum of all my inventory assets, but I can break them out by location as well. And once again, full drill down capabilities, so I can figure out exactly what explains my inventory balance in this contractor's location here. So a lot of in and out item receipt and fulfillments from that co-man location. Some of the other things here on my financial controller's dashboard. And by the way, a lot of these other dashboards for my sales, for my operations, will have kind of the same general look and feel. They'll be laid out the same, but obviously underlying data is going to be different because the nature of my role is concerned about different kinds of data within the organization. So I have lots and lots of reminders here that are informing me of specific actions or notifications that I want to have at my fingertips. But then I have certain KPIs here. So I can see some KPIs based on this month versus last month's sales and some of those trends. I can look at this period versus last period's expenses. And once again, any of these I can drill into the underlying details to explain these numbers. So here are some other kind of financial overview numbers. I can look at bank balances here. And once again, these are just little widgets. I can add them to the dashboard. I can remove them. I can change them out. Maybe I want to look at manufacturing operations widgets. So I can add additional ones or I can change them. Very, very easy. Look at this. Now I'm looking at manufacturing operations, looking at number of orders and inventory turns. So you can see how easy it is to make little tweaks and change your dashboards and the underlying data that you're responsible for. A lot of these data reports can be pulled into your dashboards for graphical graphical interfaces. So I can have bar charts, line graphs, looking at income by period. So these are just data queries or reports behind the scenes, and I can literally just select them on my KPIs and dashboards. So this one's looking at income, but I have lots and lots of other kinds of KPIs I could pull in here, like average days to pay, employee count, deferred revenue, fixed assets, inventory. Right. So here's AP trends, here's cash projections. Obviously, cash is always a very important element to pay attention to as a controller, to kind of look at where my cash position is going to be underwater potentially. All right. Next, I want to pivot towards more of an operational role here. So we've got a supply chain manager role. We kind of have warehouse operations. We have more production managers, production planning, purchasing. I'm going to go to just kind of our general supply chain manager perspective. So obviously, depending on the size of your organization and how many hats your people wear, they may have various permissions associated with their role to make sure that they have everything they need to do their job and they have access to their data and reports that are required. So once again, the dashboard doesn't look too much different other than the underlying data here for my supply chain manager. I've got the center tab navigation if I need it. But once again, a lot of these are just shortcuts and displayed for me elsewhere on my dashboard. I have the reminders portlet on the upper left-hand side, and I have different reminders here. So I've got some planning alerts. I've got some work orders past due. I've got some late purchase order lines on here. And then I have other dashboard tiles here. So here is a item demand plan or a item supply plan. And I can look at some of my planning metrics and planning data from here. I have the ability to easily create a new PO or a new work order here. I also have more informed procurement. So this is a reminder that's telling me I have 8 items to order. This is informed procurement from a planning process. So I may have various ways to plan my material. I may have some materials that are set up on more demand plans. Some are set up with kind of min-max levels. And once again, this is NetSuite telling me I require additional materials, and some of these have preferred vendors on them. So I've got some a layer of copper. I've got a bottle with a cap. I can literally just come in here and look at how many are available, how many are back ordered or on order, what's my reorder point, what's a stocking level, and NetSuite's filling out for me the quantity that it thinks I need to order based on bringing me back to my stocking level in this case for these reorder points. I can override these quantities, obviously. My preferred vendor pricing comes in automatically, but I can override that as well. And I can literally just check a couple boxes of the ones that I want to go through. Maybe I want to change out a vendor here and select a different vendor and price. And then I just submit. And NetSuite can automatically create the purchase orders for me just from starting with my reminder that tells me to order items. Same type of thing for planning my production and my work orders. NetSuite can tell me I have so many assemblies to build, and I can generate those work orders. Or I have work orders to close here in this case. So maybe the work orders gotten most of the way completed, and this is the last step, is more of a confirmation. Some of the KPIs here for my supply chain manager. Obviously, looking at inventory positions. What's the value of my inventory this month versus last month? My order counts, the value of customer returns. And once again, I can kind of pivot and look at really any kind of KPI I want to create in NetSuite or use some of the existing standard KPIs. And by the way, NetSuite comes with thousands and thousands of data queries and reports that are pre-configured and ready to go. So you don't have to build a lot of this from scratch. Most of the work is already done. And if you want to make slight tweaks to the existing ones, very, very easy to make pivots rather than have to build everything from scratch. And then if I'm modifying these, maybe I don't care about month to month. Maybe I want to look at a rolling quarter, or I want to look at a whole year at a time and compare against the same time frame the previous year. So very, very easy to just update with a little setup menu and make some of these range changes with little drop downs. Here is my inventory KPI that we saw earlier here. Value of my cost of goods versus inventory value, days of inventory on hand. My monthly orders trend. Am I increasing the amount of sales, decreasing, staying steady? Do I have some extreme swings in seasonality here? And then does my inventory trend kind of reflect a similar pattern of my orders trend? And then just from the reporting perspective here, I've got inventory back order reports, inventory valuation reports. So here is a quick inventory valuation report. I can see here's all my assembly items grouped together, things that I might manufacture. Here's all my inventory items, which might be raw materials. And here's how many I have on hand, the value, and what percentage of my total inventory value does it represent. So maybe I have a few core products. I can easily see here's a representation. 80% of my inventory value is my core product. Right, and then obviously I've got all kinds of demand planning reports that are already pre-built for me. So I can look at demand history by item. I can look at a forecast versus actual for demand. I've got all kinds of inventory reports as well. I can look at my current inventory snapshot or stock ledger. I can look at an inventory activity detail report to kind of explain, hey, how did I end up with negative inventory somehow? And this inventory activity report will show me kind of the running total of counts of increasing and decreasing inventory. Once again, all of these are full drill down capabilities, so it can take me all the way down to the individual transaction that explains the report. All right. And then lastly, let's go into our sales manager perspective. And once again, any user can have multiple roles assigned to them as well. So that's how I'm so easily able to move from controller to supply chain manager to sales manager, is I've got multiple roles assigned to my user. And then each role is designed with its own unique set of permissions and capabilities for kind of full auditability, compliance, all of that. So once again, logged in as a sales manager, I have very similar looking dashboard. I've got slightly different kind of center path navigations. These are more concerned with leads, prospects, opportunities, and quotes, and customers, and sales forecasting, which obviously are more unique to a sales role versus a financial role. The same type of reminders dashboard on the upper left that is more collaboration and workflow and notifications for my sales manager. So this sales manager here has notifications to approve some sales orders, or I have some overdue invoices, or maybe I'm generating some quotes for some prospects and I need to print those out and send them or email them out to those prospects. I have certain tasks I can set up. So I have a few tasks for calls to complete. So I've logged certain tasks in NetSuite. Once again, it's a full built out CRM system that exists within the whole ERP. So here are the tasks that were set up and scheduled for me. I want to call these various customer accounts, and these are scheduled. I've got some dates, I've got some phone numbers, who organized it, and then what company is it? Who am I talking to? I have other reminders here, like new customers. I can even pull in reminders and queries that'll build groups for me, like what customers have not purchased anything in 2 weeks or a month. So I have all kinds of reports here to look at my pipeline, and then maybe the lack of pipeline for lack of repeat customers. So I've got some of these sales by customer reports, sales back order reports. Maybe I want to look at sales by rep. So here's my sales by customer, and I'm looking at just the current month. Obviously, I can extend it out, look at the last 2 months, refresh my data, and drill into, maybe let's look at just Canada. How's Canada doing? Right, how's US doing? And maybe I want to look at my sales by customer by product classification. So maybe I'm having certain customers who buy a lot of this type of product, but not this type of product. So I can get some of those insights instantaneously here. And by the way, any of these reports I have in NetSuite, I've got these links down here where I can kind of fully expand or contract if it's kind of the nodes in here that, like we saw in some of those financial reports. I can easily export it to, in this case, Excel. So I have this link on the bottom, Excel. I just click once and it'll download it to Excel and I can open it up. I can export to PDF. I can export as a CSV or a Word document. I can print this. I can email it, or I can even set it up on a schedule. So here is a sales by customer report that I pivoted for my product class. And I can have this run more than once, telling me if I run it at 11 a.m., this is during peak hours. So maybe I want to have this run the very end of the day, 11 p.m. I'm going to run it more than once. I want to run it weekly, every Thursday at 11 a.m. or 11 p.m., sorry. Starting today with no end date. Or maybe I just want to have this sent, end by the end of the week, the end of the month. So I can kind of define the recurrence, and then I can copy others. What employees do I want to be included in here? Or maybe what customers? I can send customers specific reports as well. And I can have those customers actually being sent their own individual data from a summary report that has lots of customers on it. So I can send, if I have customer as a result field, I can have those emailed to customers as the recipient from the result. I can have a message on here, and I can say, send it in as kind of a HTML link or a Excel file or PDF. And I can type up my own message. I can add additional attachments as well. So NetSuite does have a cloud storage where I can kind of click and drag files in and it'll store them for me. And then I can access them and send them out. This does have full capability of integrating with Outlook. So I can trigger the emails from NetSuite and I'll get a copy of them in my Outlook as well. Here's my sales back order report. Once again, showing me by customer sales order by item. I can see here how many they ordered, how many have been fulfilled or on back order, how many are on order, awaiting a work order to complete them. And then any report too, I can add additional filters on here. So maybe I only care about the Boston location for sales orders or back order, or Los Angeles here. And by the way, too, every one of these center tabs has its own dashboard view. So right now I'm looking at the leads overview. And now I can see here, this is all about new business, new leads, new customers, customer conversions. So very different type of dashboard and metrics I'm looking at from the leads perspective versus, maybe in opportunities. So opportunities, these are my internal sales plan and how many opportunities won this month versus last month and kind of that trend analysis. What are my current opportunities sorted by expected close date and what those statuses are. And then here's some of my sales and operational KPIs. I'm looking at my pipeline from new opportunities today, this week, this month, etc. And here's my top 10 open opportunities through the end of the year. Western goods is a large chunk of those here. I can show them as a bar graph. Also, too, all of your portlets will have this recent record. So if I open up a whole bunch of tabs, then close them out and say, oh, what was I just looking at? I can go right back to it. All right. And there is plenty more I can show you, but I will turn it over to Brooke here and Vivian, who will talk a little bit more about some pricing.
Thank you,
Rick?
Ben.
Yeah, I can take it, Rick. You can go to the next slide. I'm going to finish up here. Thank you, Ben. That was a great overview. There is a lot more to show, and we're happy to do that for you. Just to give you an idea of how to buy NetSuite, a little bit on that. You can buy either directly from NetSuite or you can buy from a NetSuite Solution Partner, which is what Luxent is. And there's a lot of differences in that. So, we're all incentive differently. So the incentive really from the NetSuite Direct team is to sell you some software and to sell you as much software as they can in that initial sale. The incentive from Luxent or a solution provider is really to help you find the right solution to configure you properly and for you to be properly implemented and to have that partnership long term. So we're really playing the long game, and we're really looking to invest in that long-term partnership. Our level of product knowledge is significantly different. I've been in the business for 25 years, have been selling to medical device that whole time. Ben, as you heard, has been at NetSuite and then came over to work with Luxent and has many, many years of working in the manufacturing and medical device areas. And so does the rest of our team. What you'll find at NetSuite, it's a great team, but they're young and they're not as experienced as in the requirements that you need and understanding your business, and then also in the most important thing, in the implementation. On the licensing, we're looking to sell you only what you need when you need it. We're working to protect you on that contract and really looking out on your best interests. So it's important for us to, we're going to be here for the long haul, and we're going to make sure that you invest properly and you invest carefully and only as you need to invest. And then just renewals, as you renew contracts and as you continue to grow with the application, you're protected on those renewals. You have someone looking out and working aggressively to fight and negotiate on your behalf. All of those things are what a solution partner provides, like Luxent. And those are critical things in that long success with a product, an ERP product like NetSuite. You can go to the next slide. When to buy, all kinds of times of when to buy, right? You're in QuickBooks and it's just not robust enough. You saw today the flexibility, all the reports and dashboards that are included with the application that are just there for you to access. Just able to get more control and visibility, be able to make smarter decisions. You see your inventory, manage where the product is at through the life cycle. You have a legacy solution. We have taken many customers off of QAD or other solutions and moved them to NetSuite. And we've taken people that are just startups and in QuickBooks and are just starting off and starting to grow and seeing the demand grow and their needs grow. And then maybe going internationally. NetSuite's very robust and is all over the world. And it's just something where as you continue to go and in any way, you start to need a more robust ERP. You can go forward. How is the pricing handled? And this is a longer conversation, but I'd love to just give you guys an idea. There's NetSuite's made up into SKUs, modules, and there's hundreds of them. So there's lots to pick from. But we try to really narrow that down, and so does NetSuite based on your industry. So they have different package SKUs for like manufacturing or service or distribution or medical device. So they kind of sub-verticalize this and try to give you what they believe that you need. And then we will understand your business a little bit more and then add to that as necessary. It also is based on your number of users. So if you're under 10 users, if you're a mid-range client, if you're under 30, or if you're above that, that's kind of how they gauge the pricing for you. The standard out of the box pricing, that's the list price, is $120 per user. And that's obviously negotiable, and we will work to negotiate that for you. But that's kind of to give you just an idea of what that out of the box pricing is. They have worked really, really hard to work with customers coming from the Excel and the QuickBooks arena. So, you're coming from very low cost investments. So they really do have packages that kind of help you in a startup mode. And then as for other companies coming off of legacy solutions that are a little bit larger too. You can go forward. Okay, so what are the steps? So you've done the first one, you've come to a demo, an overview demo, you've got an idea of what it can provide. You might have some more interest. You might want to set up a 30-minute scheduled discovery with us. And really, it's really just for us to understand your business in a little bit more detail and to provide you that pricing, to provide you that budgetary pricing that kind of gives you an idea, what is it going to cost for us? NetSuite has multiple different users. If you're going to have warehouse users or maybe users that are just going to need view capability or reporting capability, we have different type of users. So understanding the users and their needs is important for us to get the pricing for you. And then the other component is the implementation cost. How much is it going to not only cost us to buy NetSuite, but how much is it going to cost us to implement it? So we can provide you all of that in that next meeting. And then we can provide you a tailored demo. So many of you, and thank you all for joining today. We got a nice turnout. But we can schedule a secondary demo for your team and keep people with. And then the third step being just the tailored demo, which I discussed. And then the fourth step being just working with us and trying to negotiate that best pricing. And we're very, very savvy at this. We've been doing it for 15 years, and we know the pricing that they can provide for you. We know what we can kind of negotiate, and we work really hard to provide that and protect you there. And the next step is buying it and starting the implementation in that journey, and let us help you to work through that whole process. So those are the steps. We're happy to work with you to get that next step scheduled. And with that, we will pass it over to Brooke.
Thank you, Vivian. All right, well, thank you everyone so much for attending today. If you had any questions that were not answered by our demo today, feel free to email sales@luxent.com, or I can follow up with you via email to see if there were any questions or topics that were not addressed. After our webinar today, there is a quick survey. It'd be great if you guys would be able to fill it out. We can kind of help gauge where you guys are in your NetSuite process and what might be the next steps for you. We are excited to get a demo set up with you guys for the next step, and we look forward to seeing you on another demo. Thank you very much and have a great day.